Hello and welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I'm Mr. C, a Viroko critic. I hope you're doing well. I am doing well too. We are back again with a new format that we are trying out. It's called uh, it's basically rankings. We're doing rankings, right? We will be doing top threes and bottom threes once in a while. Keep things interesting at Nollywood Film Club. Today we are discussing, as you can see from the title, we're discussing some blockbusters. We define everything so that you know where exactly what we're the lists we're picking from. If you want to actually see all the 43 films that we picked from, it is available on our Twitter. But yeah, before we go into that, a decent amount of feedback. I wouldn't say a lot, a decent amount of feedback from our our previous episode on the podcast where we were discussing soundtracks. That was very nostalgic for a lot of people. Shout out to Demelza. I didn't know Demelza was the one who recommended it. I definitely remember, and I think I might have said as much in the podcast in the space that I do remember somebody did recommend this. So I did not know it was Demelza. Demelza commented on the podcast saying, saved this for Saturday, and boy, what a treat. I remember DMing you all about a soundtrack topic a while back, and I didn't think you guys would do it. Would have knocked shit over if someone did not mention the OG Blood Sister track. Luckily, someone did. For everyone who gave their favorite soundtracks, thank you. It gave me new movies to watch. To Stanley Okori, the GOAT, live forever. Thank you, NFC. Thank you so much, Demelza, and shout out to you, because I don't actually think we would have done this without your comment. So I know you DM'd us a while back, and it's just been in the back burner, and just finally happy that we could get round to it. So yes, if you do, we do listen to comments, we do take feedbacks, and all of these things are part of our process, and we are very thankful for all the people who engage with us. So you're part of our community. Those of us, it's not just the people who come on the space to speak, but shout out to all of our speakers as well, because this one is another fun one. I am just going to let it, because I think I introduced it properly in the space. So I'm just going to allow you enjoy Nollywood Film Club rank their top 3 blockbusters. All right, welcome to Nollywood Film Club. We do discuss Nollywood-related topics Sunday, 6 p.m. WAT. Today, we are going to be ranking top 3 Nollywood box office hits for the purpose of not having an argument of what qualifies as a box office hit. We're just calling this things that have made over 100 million naira. Now, obviously, 100 million means different things to different at different points in time, but we need to draw a line at some point. But yeah, today we're just going to be ranking our favorite top 3 Nollywood movies that have ranked over 100 million naira. I'm going to pin the films, all the films that have made over 100 million naira on the space, so that if you haven't already done your gathering, done your list, you can do your list with us. But we will go through everybody's ranking, and then we'll discuss why rankings are better than each other's one. But first, we'll do our rankings and why we've gone with the films we've gone briefly, and then we'll discuss why our ranking is better than the other person's rankings. That's the general gist of today, and then we'll do what we've been watching, because last, all of this is to kind of this new hangout format. Well, have something we're discussing, and then we'll just do general catch up. Okay. All right. So, Vanessa, do you want to give us your top 3 Nollywood?
You know you're wrong for that. I've already expressed to you my hardship. You not said no. I'm gonna call her first, but it's fine. It's fine. At number three, I have My Village People. I genuinely think it's one of our better written comedies in a long time. It just works overall. I think I quite enjoyed Bovie in it. The concept of your village people being actually real and either from the Marine Kingdom slash witches. I just thought it was fantastic. Those three witches with the late what's her name? Oh God, Rachel Oniga and the late I had their names in my brain. The three witches I quite
Ada,
Ada, yes. I loved them as a running joke. And I think that's what the film did so well is we had them as a running joke. The tug of war between the Marine Kingdom baddies and the witches, and the fact that the Marine Kingdom baddies had like water powers, and like every time they showed up it was raining. Overall, it was just a really cool film. I thought it was funny. I thought it was a it was experimental in its own way while still referencing like old Nollywood. I think it just did really well. I quite enjoyed My Village People. I have a tie at number two, guys. I have a tie at number two, and I think I like. See, I don't know. Leave me.
what you
I
want me mention first?
Vanessa.
eh?
Free Vanessa.
I said
Vanessa, continue. Vanessa.
whichever film she mentions first. That's what I'm taking as your
Vanessa.
number two.
It's a lie. Oh, it's a lie. It's a lie. Please. I like the two of them for the exact same reasons. I think they were both, and these two films came out at different times, but they were both really good to watch in cinema with other people. And they were fun for, I think, the exact same reasons, to be honest. And it's A Tribe Called Judah and Wedding Party One. I think they were both exciting to watch in the cinemas. Wedding Party One was our first film in the cinema era that people just genuinely liked. It was fun. It was what it was. It was a party. And A Tribe Called Judah kind of felt like that as well. I don't think watching A Tribe Called Judah on streaming didn't have the same effect as watching it in the cinema did. And I think that's the same way I feel about a wedding party. But to be honest, I think a wedding party edges out A Tribe Called Judah just slightly based off of nostalgia. And then at number one, King of Boys, the first film. We're not talking the second film or the series. We're talking King of Boys, the OG King of
Sorry, so
Boys.
that's four top three. Is that what
Don't
I'm
Yes,
mind,
it's
hearing
four
by
top
you?
three. Leave me.
don't
I
mind
found a loophole.
Okay.
there's no loophole. Your number
It's a
three
lie.
is
Me,
gone.
in my own mind now. You people cannot tell me what to do. I found loophole. But King of Boys number one is my number one. I think it was our first really well done villain. Oba. The opening scene was intense. Another really good thing, another great film to watch in cinema with other people. Like the excitement in Nigerian cinemas for King of Boys was fantastic. It was in a time where, like, even months after, people were still talking about King of Boys. Um, Oba wiping the blood stains on her ashoke and going back out to go and greet her guests of timber and caliber, you know, um, her going into the hood to go and have her meeting with the crime syndicate. I just think King of Boys, the first film, was well done. And it's probably, unfortunately, I hate to say, maybe people will disagree with me. I think it was our last good Chineke, nah. And I'm not talking about, so I'm not, especially in the 100 million grossing, I'm not talking the indie films. I'm not talking the ones that the cinema people did bats in. Amongst this 100 million list, I think it was our last good cinema film. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, thanks, Vanessa. We got your three there from four. We'll see how this goes. It's funny how Colin saying marine water budgie reminds me of back in the days when we're watching doing this space where I think it was who was it? I think it was Shagun who gave us Ashake Badi. I can't remember, something like that. Ashake Badi. Back then, we used to have various type of spiritual buddies. To be honest, so it's nice for it to continue. I like it. All right. I think Alana was next. Alana, do you want to give us your top three Nollywood blockbusters?
Sorry, can I take like a pass and then I'll get
Gang,
back?
gang. Okay, no problem. All right. Atas. Was it Atas? No.
It's me. It's okay.
Yes. Okay.
So are we just listing things we like or why we like them as well right now?
Yeah, just give your like brief this and why you have those films in that order.
Okay. The fact that it has to go in order is not fun. But number 3, I would go with Sugar Rush. Um, I enjoyed the randomness of the juju. Honestly, truly, truly random juju. And the storyline of the family was sweet and had some heart. Number 2 would be King of Boys. I think it's one of the few movies in Nollywood that exists with a truly well written, well rounded female character where we get to explore a lot of her complexities. And then number 1 would be A Tribe Called Judah. Storyline I thought was very straightforward. The plot generally works. It was funny and it had a lot of heart. But yeah.
Okay. All right. We're already seeing a couple of similarities. We'll see how many of these films remain the same across the top three. That's going to be interesting to watch. All right. Alana, are you ready? Do you want to skip one more?
Okay. I think I'm ready.
Sad. He says sounds so sad to be called at this point. But if you're ready, go on.
Okay. So I think my top 3. Number 3 has to be The Wedding Party. That's the part 1, of course. The part 1. And it's because it was what's the word though? It was funny and it was our first I call it Wazobia. It was one of those, just bring everybody together, just do a whole family themed thing. So yes, that was my number 3. My number 2, I don't even know, but I have to give Tribe Called Judah. Because this one I actually saw it in the cinema and it was such a fun watch in the cinema. It's my best funke cinema movie ever, ever, ever. It had everything. Like I said, it had heart, it had soul, it had family themes, it had comedy, it had drama, it had tears, it had really good acting performances from multiple persons. So yeah, that's my second best. And then my number 1 is Brotherhood. I did not see this in the cinema. It's like my biggest regret ever. But yeah, Brotherhood is my number 1.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Alana. Elizabeth, do you want to give us your top 3?
Yes, so my top 3. First, I think I noticed something about all the 3 movies on my top 3 is the fact that they are inspired. They are Hollywood inspired, but they were localized in the Nigerian reality, so to speak, and they also have a lot of fan service in the sense that the audience enjoy them in the cinema. So starting from the very first, of course, everybody's talked about its Wedding Party, which is inspired by Jumping the Broom. I liked that it was very much Nigerian reality. It was funny too, and it seemed like the writing was tight in the way they wove the from the Sambasa scene in the beginning to the very end. And I thought that it was fun. I watched it at the cinemas. I really liked it. I thought, is this it for the Nigerian cinema? The second one for me would be Living in Bondage. Living in Bondage took the existing IP, the original one, the first one, and then sort of like did magic with Devil's Advocates, which is also Hollywood. And I thought it was a really reasonable attempt, considering that we are, in the way we make film a lot about juju and, the metaphysical. I thought it was good. Probably still disagree about the resolution, but then I thought it was really good. I watched it at the cinema and I liked it. I like the twist, anyways, the modernization of the entire thing. And then the third for me would be King of Boys. King of Boys also amazing work, amazing motivation, amazing character. Could disagree about some things, but I liked again. This film is basically Godfather, also inspired again. But you see that in the inspiration, grounded in reality, the Nigerian reality, the characterization, and which made me realize that I don't think I'm opposed to getting inspired by any foreign movies or doing any form of fan service. I just want it to be, well done and Nigerian. So that's my top 3.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Elizabeth. And if I was going through your top 3, it's The Wedding Party at number 3, Living in Bondage number 2, King of Boys number.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, Iti, do you want to give us your top 3 Nollywood box office hits?
Yes. So I think I'm like in the minority with this one, but my number 3 is Battle of or Be Bottle on Booker Street. And the reason for that is because that was the first like Nollywood movie I watched in the cinema over here in the US. And I think it was just a great experience. I didn't watch A Tribe Called Judah in the cinemas. I watched it by myself, and I think maybe if I watched it in the cinemas, it would have also changed my experience. But yeah, so 3 for me was Battle of Booker Street. 2, as everyone has said, Wedding Party. I think that was my first introduction into like not first introduction, but it was like reintroduction into new Nollywood. So I really enjoyed that. And as everyone has said, number 1 for me was King of Boys, and I don't think I need to mention too many reasons for that. But yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. It has gone number 1, King of Boys, number 2, The Wedding Party, and number 3, Battle on Booker Street. Okay, all right. And last but not I guess we go as well. But Agu, do you want to give us your top 3 Nollywood film?
Yeah, so it's the exact same thing with Miss Sojo. The only difference is Living in Bondage is my number 1, and then King of Boys number 2, The Wedding Party number 3. It's the exact same thing with her.
Okay, say that again. Number 1 was what? King of Boys.
Living in Bondage. I really enjoyed it. Yes, it was very nostalgic, but with this modern twist, like she said, I enjoyed it very much.
Okay.
And then King of Boys. And Wedding Party Part 1 is very special to me. I think that's the greatest Lekki Wood movie I've seen. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Mrs. C, do you want to give us your top 3?
Sure. So in number 3 for me, I have A Tribe Called Judah. I saw that in cinema, and I think it is one of those films that you should see in cinema and you should see with other people. I think that really made it quite a good experience. Surpassed my expectations, to be honest. I think fun, or my favorite part of it, was the young love with Genevieve's character and what's his face? I can't remember who she was in love with. But that little young love, I thought I enjoyed that. I think it was really funny. I yelled at them a few times. And I've been complaining about, we're not doing love a lot in Nollywood, and I just thought that was cute. Second on my list, I have King of Boys. King of Boys, absolute best villain we have had in Nollywood. I think I cannot off the top of my head think of a better villain. It was, everyone knows how big of an event King of Boys was, how much of a big deal it was. Appreciated so many things about it. First off, our villain being a woman, right? And also being just a well-rounded villain. I don't know if it was Vanessa that mentioned her wiping the blood on her Ashoki before going back to her party. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. It was giving rich Nigerian older woman sprinkled with crime boss. Loved that. Still had the mother aspect, philanthropist, everything. It really showed that, this is just a well-rounded criminal. Criminals don't exist in a vacuum. There's a reason why they are very popular and they have all of the love in their neighborhoods is they do these acts of philanthropy. They're human people. Also really, and I know her children died, but I did really appreciate, for part one anyway, I also appreciated the ending. Not like all of the way it tied together, but I liked that the not good person got away. It was interesting. Again, I will not, as much as I love King of Boys, I do hold it responsible for the wave of really terrible crime movies that plagued us for the next few years, because I don't know, we don't know how to learn the good things. But yeah, that's King of Boys at my number 2. And my number 1 is Wives on Strike 3. I did not want to see this movie. I saw it out of obligation because it was showing in a local cinema, and I thought if a Nollywood film is showing in a local cinema, I have to go watch it. And I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed how the story progressed. I really enjoyed the relationships between these women. I really, at the risk of not giving spoilers, right, because I don't imagine that a lot of people have watched it, and if it does come to streaming, we're definitely going to discuss it. But I enjoyed the acting. Like Wives on Strike 3 came out of nowhere and surprised me. So that is my number 1.
Wow. I will like to remind everybody before I do my list that this was done independently. And if it sounds at all similar, it's because Mrs. C is a thief. Just saying this. Okay, all right. So my number 3 is A Tribe Called Judah. By far my most fun moment in a cinema. I feel like what Nigerian, I think that's for me the blueprint of what Nigerian films should be sort of doing in the cinema, for especially when you want to do this adventure comedy type films. I think A Tribe Called Judah is the blueprint for that. It's both funny, has heart, and it doesn't neglect any of these things. It doesn't, and the story as well is very. They all, I wouldn't say it's not exactly tight, but it's serviceable. But the thing you're in there is for the adventure and the comedy and the heart. And too many times our films are neglecting one of these for the other, or neglecting story for something else. But yes, I thought this was such a fun. This is one of those ones that you can speak in the cinema, and this film was made for that kind of experience. Number 2, Wives on Strike 3, and that one is that one's one of my favorite surprises. Mrs. C has basically said why we're supposed to go watch Gladiator 2 on this day, and oh no, this film is out. We in our cinemas, like we have to go watch it before it goes away, and we don't know when next we might see it again. So, and we were heavily surprised. And for me to prefer this to Gladiator 2 should tell you something about why it's this highly ranked for us. Great movie about community and looking out for each other and sisterhood, and also where to draw that line. My number 1 is King of Boys. I think when we go straight into arguing why other people's lists are on, I think anybody who doesn't have King of Boys as your number 1, we're fighting straight away, because King of Boys is a milestone. It's funny, like almost I think everybody has a Kemi Adetiba movie in their top 3, and some people have 2, and that's not a coincidence because she's so good. Elizabeth spoke about localizing Hollywood stories for us very well. King of Boys is a great godfather, but for women in Nigeria, for a woman in Nigeria, right? It's just it's just um, it's just one of my favorite characters in Nollywood. Oba by quite a long way. I think only challenged by this guy from Blossom's character from The Trade. But I don't remember Blossom's character's name. I'm trying to remember his name. What's his name? What it would be? I can't remember his name. But I'm never gonna forget Oba. So yes, that's why King of Boys for me is number one. So all right, we're going to go into why we think some of our list is better than other people's list. But before that, I will remind people of their rankings. So Mrs. C has Wives on Strike 3, number 1. King of Boys, number 2. A Tribe Called Judah, number 3. Vanessa has King of Boys, number 1. Wedding Party, number 2. A Tribe Called Judah, number 3.
You can't take away my village people.
Okay. It's number 4. All right.
Wow.
Ataz has A Tribe Called Judah, number 1. Number 2, King of Boys. Number 3, Sugar Rush. Alana has number 1, Brotherhood. Number 2, A Tribe Called Judah. Number 3, The Wedding Party. Elizabeth has King of Boys, number 1. Number 2, Living in Bondage. Number 3, The Wedding Party. Uti has King of Boys, number 1. Number 2, The Wedding Party. Number 3, Battle of Booker on Booker Street. Agu has Living in Bondage, number 1. Number 2, King of Boys. Number 3, The Wedding Party. All right. Do people want to go on why their list is? Whose list do we want to attack first? Whose list is?
I'm so torn between Vanessa and whoever said Brotherhood. But Vanessa, first of all, that my village people even makes your list offends me greatly. What a waste of classic Nollywood characters. Like they had so many good people in it, and at every point in time, we were literally just wasting their existence. The fact that this is Rachel Oniga's last movie offends me greatly because that is not how I want to remember her. The storyline was troubling. The pacing of the movie was troubling. The comedic, whatever in it, troubling. Like I'm very, very confused and offended, Vanessa. And you know I love you. So this is like you're hurting my heart.
Okay, all right, well, off to a start. By the way, I think Rachel Nigga's last film. Yeah, I'm just making a factual correction. Rachel Nigga's last film, I think, was A Niger Christmas.
And I would like to say
that's even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, Vanessa.
Me, I'm here to attack Olana's Brotherhood. Unfortunately, Olana, again, I'm gonna borrow Otaz's I love you, so this is hurting my heart. Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
I love this one.
I'm sorry. What? And I would have even forgiven you if you said it was number 3. But to put it at number 1, Brotherhood, where the brothers are not even brothers. If you're gonna make a film about brothers, they might as well. The least you can do, the bare minimum, is to have these characters act, talk, be like brothers. It was unnecessary, boom, boom, with no actual anything tying anything together. The motivations of these characters incredibly flawed. Some of the effects also, the end. They never see me coming. I feel like if they just use Ashake to wipe everybody memory of what they just watched, And everybody was like, yeah, great film, because they heard Asake's voice and they saw the lead character escaping in a jalopy. Sorry, the Brotherhood just doesn't cut it. Shouldn't be anywhere on this list. In fact, in my opinion, Jade Oshibe should not mention that film again in a filmography. I don't think that film is worth making anybody's top 3 in any place and time in any universe. Who else am I attacking? Somebody do mention. What was Uti? What was Uti's number 1 again?
I know it's the Battle of Bukashi you want to argue. It was my number 3. You can
Battle
attack.
of Buka Street. Gone, yeah. I'm glad that you even know. I don't even have to tell you. The fact that you yourself can actually, you can preempt where is Battle of Buka Street that I want to attack. That's all that it says it all for me. All we had, this is what I can say is, and this is coming from someone who doesn't think Mercy Johnson is that good of an actress. It's one of the most offensive Mercy Johnson performances to ever hit my TV screens. And do maybe the Dirty Girl exists? I quite frankly could not stand Mercy Johnson in this. The unnecessary fighting that was never explained, even with all the multiple flashbacks into the women being pregnant at the same time. The fighting just didn't make any sense. The resolution didn't make any sense. It was just incredibly loud and annoying. And I'm a Yoruba girl, I'm loud. But that film was loud and annoying. And I'm very surprised that it is even genuinely, if you look at Funke Akindele's cinema successes, Battle on Buka Street is at the bottom and bottom of the pile. It should not be mentioned. And for somebody to have it as their number 1, quite flawed reasoning in my personal opinion.
I said number 3.
Anywhere in your top 3, flawed.
As I said, it was a personal experience.
Sorry,
I
not to
enjoyed the
knock your
cinematic
personal experience.
experience.
I'm not knocking your experience of the film. I'm just talking about the film. I'm not knocking your experience. I'm sure your experience of the film must have been lovely and you have sentimental reasons for such a ranking. But I'm just speaking about the film. It didn't good.
All right. All right. So anybody who was attacked want to respond. So it was Uti got some licks there, and who else? Was it Agu? No. Uti, do you have anything to say in response? Yeah.
I just want to say I understand. That's why you don't.
This is not time for understanding. You need to attack
No.
back.
I'm saying,
Let us speak.
I'm saying
you
that.
Can't change her life.
I'm saying that. I said before I even mentioned it. I said I know it's a very unpopular opinion. I knew she was going to come for it. It was just like an experience. I tried to watch it again by myself, and I don't like. I didn't. I think it was on me. I think it was during Christmas as well. There was a lot of love. It was just enveloping me, and also, unfortunately, I cannot fight my heart, and it had to come out. So that's my rebuttal.
All right, very tepid defense there. You have to fight, be brave. It doesn't matter.
Defense is being generous. Defense is being generous. She said she watched it again and she didn't like it. I hope everybody can hear.
That's what I call it.
I said experience. It was experience, not the movie.
Yeah,
experience.
I
like.
Oh God. All right. Okay, Alana, did you have any? They called your Brotherhood out to.
Brotherhood was so bad.
Please, fair. I understand. I get it.
Yeah,
Brotherhood, yeah, it's very not
Brotherhood one thing that came out of Kingdom Boys happening and being so good is that people then thought they could make movies like Brotherhood, which they couldn't. Like they just couldn't. The storyline in Brotherhood is so stupid. The plot line is stupid. The action is stupid. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with even a few of those attacks on Brotherhood. I think the editing in Brotherhood makes a lot of the action very uninteresting to watch, just confusing. I don't know whether that was because of the way it was shot or anything, or I don't know whether that was the editing editing's fault. But yeah, that one, the story doesn't help. To be honest, it has a lot of interesting characters in there, but no, not for me. The person, the other, the film I'm going to attack now, because we've attacked people with Brotherhood on your list and people with Battle on Booker Street. Although I don't dislike Battle on Booker Street. I enjoyed it okay, but then the film just changed in the last like 30 minutes to some. So it just turned into a different film. And yeah, maybe there was a bit of repetition in the fighting between Mercy Johnson. Me and Vanessa will always go back and forth with Mercy Johnson and her acting. I think she's a formidable actress. But for me, my biggest problem with Battle on Booker Street was it just changed into a different film in the last like 20 or 30 minutes. And the tone was just very, very different and very off, and it didn't fit for me. But the brand new film I want to attack is Living in Bondage. And a few people have Living in Bondage in their top 3. Living in Bondage, you know what? That film, there's an accent I get why somebody would have put it here, but this film is not even as good as the original. So I don't know what it's doing in this list, to be honest. The protagonist is worse than the original. It does have some nice shots. It does better, but the story for me is not as good. The motivations and the story, the plot points that move from A to B, they're not as clean, or they're not as smooth as they are in the original. And this is just when you watch this is a film you watch only to appreciate that. Hey, it's good that we got it, but like it's just the story just doesn't hold up. And obviously, Jidena as a lead, please, guys, please. People are the ones
Why are
that
you
gave
giving
us.
this man a name that is not his own?
Jide Kena as a lead. Please, you guys, I remember, I will never forget when I was the solo guy. Yes. People say, oh yeah. But I remember how much I suffered from my position on Jide Kena early on. Now people are catching on. Right now, people are seeing what I saw. I was like, he's not great in Living in Bondage. He was very obvious the weakest flaw, and that's not good for your lead character, right? A bunch of, not everybody has to be 10 out of 10 strong, but you can't have your lead character be as weak as Jide Kene is, and that being the top 3. So all the people that had Living in Bondage, that's my listing for you. All right.
Biggest issue with
No,
Living
yeah, I'm
in
coming for all of you that have a tribe called Judah, and you are plenty.
biggest
So
issue
it's
with
good that
Living
you have put Living in Bondage on your own. So because me too, I have a tribe called Judah. I have that on Booker Street. I have Brotherhood. I was now asking myself, is it because I did not watch a tribe called Judah at the cinemas? Because when I jumped on, and people were like, ooh, a tribe called Judah, oh my God. I'm like, oh your God. Because that film, it was so bad in the first 3 scenes. Because the writing wanted to establish motivation and reasons. And so it did the most rushed exposition I've seen in my life since they have born me. 3 scenes, explain the reason why she's like this. Explain why she has 100 kids. Explain why the 100 kids parents where she made that. If the entire first 5 scenes was basically somebody telling us a tale. I mean, it was basically Tales by Moonlight. And I felt like I get it when you guys say heart, but I just, everything just felt forced to me. I was like, maybe if I had watched it at the cinemas, because, there is a way you watch things at the cinemas, and then the entire environment gingers you. So I'm like, maybe if I'd watched it. But Tribe Called Judah was just there. It was just there. It was just your usual Nigerian in Yoruba Kilokowa, like what did this thing teach us? Didactic film. It's just another didactic. I get, they put some comedy, maybe it's even comedy. They just put some things in there, and then they put characters for you to sort of like want to root for. and then they now give you people one death. And if we just ate it like that, and I'm hearing A Tribe Called Judah here and there. You not see that I was just looking at you, because in living in bondage defense, it's not your run of the mill, right? It's they try to do something, like I said, modernize an already existing IP, and thought that let us look at metaphysical in the 21st century. How is it going to look like in film, in where you don't have to be telling the rest of the world that you used to do chop heads to make money, even though you guys do chop heads to make money. So that's that for A Tribe Called Judah. And then for Brotherhood, and if you notice, when I started this, like I said, that the reason I realized that when I put my top 3 together, I saw that they were actually inspired by Hollywood films. And I really don't have a problem with inspirations. Like, please be inspired, inspire away. My problem with I saw Brotherhood at the cinemas. Do you guys know another film that I saw at the cinemas that I liked that nobody liked? Let me not mention it. Because, and again, I know how the atmosphere makes you feel, genge, but I watched Brotherhood at the cinemas, and by halftime, I wanted to go home. I was like, good Lord, let this thing be fast. And because half of the time I was just seeing scenes from, is it not Terminator 2? That one that they had done. I was just seeing scenes from films that I've watched before, scenes from Owo Blue. So it just felt like a carousel of, I remember this scene from this film, I'm going to put it together. And you do all of that without actually tying the plots together. Like the plot, if you move from one story to another, it has to be fluid. Brotherhood did not do that. But Brotherhood did something in the last 15 minutes in a way where it did not even tie to the film itself. Because if you look at all the motivations and all the things that have happened in the film, things, loopholes here and there, things that didn't make sense. Like, I mean, this guy killed his brother's father-in-law. But at the 15 minutes of this film, people were rooting for him. Excusez-moi. And he just cocked the gun, shot the bad guy. Everybody, yay. Look. Well, like that film. Because after I finished watching, even that 15 minutes after I finished watching it, I was like, oh, okay. But when I got, as I was driving, because I watched it late at night, I was driving back to my house, I was like, this film, what is this film? The entire 15 minutes of that film could be another film. And, we would have watched it like that. Anyways, that's my own. Bye-bye.
Wow. Okay. They came for us that put A Tribe Called Judah in their list. Okay. First off, as a defense for A Tribe Called Judah, there's no defense for the beginning. I don't think there's a defense for A Tribe Called Judah at the beginning. It's very slow, probably unnecessary in terms of getting her backstory. But you get past that, and the movie itself is sweet. The movie itself is what you in the. It's not just any and anyhow films. Like that ensemble with those different storyline with, all right, once mom is sick and, we have to go and do a robbery for mommy, and, the people that they find along the way and they help them to do the robbery. The way it juggles all those stories, I'm sorry, there are very few Nollywood movies that have actually done that. Not a lot of movies have been able to do that. And so that's my defense for. But like living in bondage, for me, living in bondage does not have. It just doesn't even have the charm of a lead. That's the thing. I wish Jidekene was a little charming. Then a lot of these things about smoother plots, smoother stories, and connecting plot points would have been easier to forgive. By the way, this is not a problem that any of the films on my list suffer from, not particularly anyway. You're not going to get that. You don't have that in A Tribe Called Judah. I think once the film gets going past that, trying to give Funke's character a backstory, all of the plot points, they move very, very smoothly, unlike Living in Bondage, because you have to start wondering, my guy, what are you doing? Why are you acting brand new after you've gone to Colette's Power of Juju? Like, it didn't make any sense.
It just shows that humans are selfish, greedy and selfish.
It just formed confusion from nowhere, Mike. We just formed confusion from nowhere. At least when Andy one thing I love about Andy is that Andy tried to guide their cult. They asked him to bring his wife, and he brought a prostitute. he brought a prostitute he met that he priced for 2,000 naira. I love that. That's fun. That's interesting. This Jack character just collecting, enjoying. And then when they say bring somebody you love, he was like, I can't start acting brand new. It was so sad and pathetic. I'm like, well, come on. So yeah, not for me. But I do respect the attempt at least.
It wasn't an attempt though, because Living in Bondage had part one to draw for. Like there was already an established classic story that had been told that all you had to do was continue and draw from. And it managed to disregard large parts of the initial story, managed to not have a good lead actor, managed to also not have a plot or storyline that made sense, and managed to also focus mostly on like the pomp and circumstance of him eventually having some funds. It largely just left you wanting for everything that the first movie like actually had. Um and yeah, A Tribe Called Judah starts slow, but you're not lost on the plot. All the characters generally make sense and they're funny, there's chemistry. It works in the way it's told. But the most egregious movie that you guys have on your list is actually A Wedding Party, because A Wedding Party is literally just like a classic Nollywood story being told with just more over the topness. Like, what does Peter say? It insists on itself. Like, it has so many contrivances and and poor attempts at like forced humor that I'm not able to watch that movie more than once. Saka's role in it was what he was literally just a jester. Um, there's the scene where they kidnap or they're robbing them, and it's like the groom, the best man, some parents are in-laws. Like that was so dumb. That's probably one of the dumbest scenes in the movie yet to exist. Where they're held at gunpoint at a wedding reception, and then they start doing their group therapy nonsense while being held hostage. Like, how did that not insult you? Because it insulted me. And
It was funny.
it was not funny. And then we have
You have to watch it again,
what's the
Otas. You have
bitch
to watch
name?
it again.
What's her name? What's her name? The one who plays the stuck-up mother all the time. Betty
Pretty
Doyle.
Security.
girl.
Yeah, exactly. See, the fact that I can just pick a random trope, stuck-up mother, and you know the character, like she was just playing the same person that she had been playing in so many movies, and she was still the best character, one of the better characters in the movie. Everybody else was generally overblown, including Sola, who obviously love, but it was just I feel like there were a lot of forecasting choices, honestly. That is my biggest problem with Wedding Party. It felt like they tried to do a what are those movies called where you have a bunch of celebrities all together, but each one of them were struggling to actually establish themselves as a character as opposed to as themselves. That's my biggest problem with the Wedding Party.
Okay, all right, okay. Aside by the ensemble, I have more to say on this, but Uti had a hand up.
So before I start, I don't want anyone to say, "Oh, not a battle on Booker Street," than talking. But my own thing is also with Tribe Called Judah. I remember going into watch. I wanted to love it, and this is coming from somebody that likes to follow the crowd, and I just could not get it.
We have told you the beginning is slow. Oh, sorry, T, go on.
The whole time.
Is it breaking for everybody else?
Yes, it is.
Okay. It's sorry, you're breaking up. Try again, maybe. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Uti will be back. Whilst Uti is coming back, can I buttress that point on? with the wedding party. Okay, now I don't know whether I dislike the wedding party as much as it has. I just think it was good for the time, and it's just the one. If we're going to put it on the list at this point, it's just not one that has held up like the rest of some of these movies on here. Wedding Party, watching it, if you rewatch it now, like there's just a lot more cringe stuff in there. And I think it's still early on in Kemi Adetipa's career, and she's having to deal with this ensemble thing. This is the beginning of Ebony Lives, really. Let's throw so many characters at the screen, and hopefully it works. And honestly, Kemi Adetiba tried for what was given to her. She really did a good job, but her hand has not strong yet. Honestly, her hand has not strong. There's too much ad-libbing on stuff. There's just so much fat in the film as a whole. If like think about the wedding party story, it's a film that you can just can discuss the plot point in maybe 3 sentences, but it didn't stop it from being 2 hours or however long it was. So
Can I speak in defense of a wedding party scene as I have it on my list?
You feel free.
Okay, then. I think one, Mr. C, this is your thing about telling the film in 3 seconds, I 3 sentences. That don't change the fact that it was enjoyable. And I think there's something to be said for turning what could be a 3-sentence story into a how many long hour film. Again, romances, guys, and romantic comedy and family comedy, quite enjoyable. I'm sorry, especially given what the romances were in the cinemas at the time. That felt like a breath of fresh air. It was a spectacle, and I don't mind a spectacle. It was colorful. Um, do I hate the male? Do I dislike the male leads acting? Perhaps, but that don't change the fact that there was chemistry, and I mean it makes sense because they're married now, whatever. But but I genuinely think it was incredibly fun. I think Saka was funny. Um, I think Zaina Balogun as the character that she played was hilarious. Especially when towards the end she took off her wig. Or then she started tearing Yoruba. Money exactly. I see it had cultural impact, which I think is not something we can take away from that film, which is something that Nollywood currently is lacking. No, a lot of these 100 million films that a lot of us have in our top 3 don't have the same cultural impact that the wedding party has. Period. When people are talking about weddings in general, what clip do they first? Wedding entrances. What clip do they put? Is Shola Shobowale entering into the wedding, and what's his name? Our husband running to the front and shouting, "Ẹ̀yin tèmi báwo ni o?" Everybody references that scene when you're talking about weddings in Nigeria, and that is intangible. And I think for a film that is a popcorn film, the least you can do is have cultural impact that lasts years after the film has been released. And Wedding Party has that. And a lot of these other films don't have it. Not a Tribe Called Judah, not a Brotherhood, not even a what's even my number one. Maybe King of Boys is the only one that also has cultural impact that has lasted. But a lot of these other 100 million films don't have cultural impact the way a wedding party does.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
One thing I
does not
love
mean
is
it's a
that
good one.
Vanessa. Because sorry, Taz, you go on.
No, you're good. I was just saying cultural impact does not mean it's a good watch. Jennifer
That
has had
that that
cultural
that that
It's
impact,
that, that
even
is a
good.
that
but
It's
is
not
it
even
fine.
true that
wasn't
it's not
That's
good.
watched.
your
Like
It's
opinion.
true.
it
It is
That's
a
wasn't.
your
good film.
opinion. That's
No,
When
your
want to talk
it
opinion.
about
was
because
an enjoyable
wedding
film.
party has the
It
perfect
was
structure.
a fun film. It appealed to Nigerian humor, which is a lot of oafishness
Is
and
that not what
It's
silly
fine.
Nigerian
It's
banter.
films are
fine because it
supposed
But
to
it
works
was
for the
do?
not a
target
good
Who
audience. It's
else's
movie.
fine.
humor is it
It
supposed
was
to
a
appeal
collection
to?
of
Donald
tropes.
Trump or
That's the
Elon
phrase.
Musk?
It
If it
was
don't
Collection
appeal
a.
to
of tropes
Nigerian
is
sense of
even
humor,
good
who
because it
else's
is
sense
well
of humor is it
done.
supposed to appeal
It's
to?
not well
All
done
right.
though.
Can
It
I
is
can I say
well
one of the
done.
things that one of the
Acceptable
things that is a
together.
problem for me for wedding party that even Vanessa actually mentioned is that again, you have a lead that can't act. I am sorry, you can't put a film
I beg,
where the lead is not acting in your top three. I'm sorry.
It is in
Even
the
in
top
Bondage
3
People,
because
a wedding party people, and the other thing she said was for the time, which I agree.
live
For
for
the
the
time,
time self.
time
You
But
has
can
then
watch
the
Wedding
film
passed.
Party
We
that
have
again.
has
passed the
lasting cultural
time.
impact,
We
that
have
has
passed the
outlasted
You
time.
can
the film.
watch Wedding Party. Let me tell you, Wedding Party
I
is
can't.
better than A Tribe Called Judah.
Aye!
Yes,
Wedding
I agree.
Party,
Delegated.
it
By
has
far,
the better
by
structure.
far.
It has
It,
a
Yes.
better structure. That film, let me tell you, the thing, see, you when you watch it again, you will realize that they were doing something. They were going for the perfect film. They took tropes, they took all of these things that they felt could work. But one thing I really appreciate them for is that they delivered from plot A, from the first scene of Sambasa picking a random wedding invitation till the end. It is very hard for Nollywood right now to do a film that from first scene to the last scene, there are no loose ends. They tightly put things together, even motivations here and there make sense without them making it 3 hours or 10 hours film. Before you know it, they've done a series because somehow we cannot put it into 1 hour 30 minutes film. It cannot last 90 minutes. We have to. It is structured. Yes, it has tropes. So what? Because a lot of all these romances is supposed to have, again, like I mentioned, this is the first film that was like cinema fan service. Because we've been trying things our way, and then
and
these guys went
we have
and picked
agreed
jumping
now.
the broom, Hollywood, and said, let
We
me
have
put
agreed to
1
do
plus
it
1 get
first.
2.
Well done for
Look,
doing
it's
it
perfect.
Have
first.
proof.
Does it?
All
Can it stand
proof.
today?
It's all
Yes, because I
proof.
still watch it.
Yes. I'm
Yes,
Cannot
I still watch it
stand.
sorry.
every other time if I'm bored.
Yes.
I will not
Wait.
wake up
Okay,
and go and watch A
okay.
Tribe Called
For
Judah or
for
Sugar
people
Rush
who have
because I'm
watched
Kenzie, let
it,
me
bored.
tell you people,
people
Mr.
have
C,
been
it is
watching
one
it.
of the only one of these 100 million films that if somebody that is non-Nigerian, whether, see, argue from now to tomorrow, somebody that is non-Nigerian asks you
Yes.
to show
When
me a
it showed
Nigerian
on
film,
Netflix, there were
yes,
lots of
to show you a Nigerian
non-Nigerians
film that
talking
you like,
about it.
you will pull out a wedding
In
party.
fact, it
Guys,
was what started that A Christmas Skinny Call, that whole series that the South Africans started doing. What was that film? Sorry.
Please,
Keep
that's
forgetting
a
now.
yes.
people have
That
been watching it
Christmas wedding or something. Please, please, please respect wedding
People
party.
have been watching the wedding party. What was Sambisa's purpose from picking flyer? Because that's
He
one of the
was the
things
one
that.
that caused the conflict. How can you not know that? That was the
What do you
He's the
mean?
one
entire
that caused the
thing
conflict, that
What
that
do
caused
you mean?
the
caused
Was the
them
one
to
that
resolution
caused
pack
the
between the
themselves in a
conflict?
families.
room.
Yes.
I
He's the
think a
one that
very
caused the
strong
conflict, that
point
caused
is
the resolution
confidence.
between
You
the
know?
fighting families. What do you mean?
Wait. He picked a flyer from the
Uh-uh.
and decided to go and rob the thing.
Trying to go
What
and
are
rob
you
them.
talking about?
Nigerians go to
That's
weddings
the
to steal
conflict.
Go
phone,
and
to steal
rob.
bags. What are you saying?
What are you saying?
And he
Also,
took a gun and then locked them
yeah,
in.
what are you
Uh-huh.
talking about?
Wait, are they?
Are you guys so nostalgic pill that you don't think that, oh, some guy, a flyer dropped and he was like, all right, I guess I'm going to
Hey,
have to
tí
rob
gbọ́
this
pé
place.
àwọn ọmọ Ogbomoya máa ń
Please,
lọ́jà lè ní. You people don't
please.
know that Ogbomoya
How
go to
is that
wedding to
not
go and steal.
perfect? How is that not perfect? Is that not the Nigerian reality that people go to
This is
weddings, go to
Nigerian reality,
parties, and
Omo.
pick up people's phones,
Hey,
pick
God.
up people's bags? Somebody posted on Twitter today that they carried their entire bag of camera. What are you saying?
No,
Yes.
and of course people still. It's just
Okay. So
we
it's
don't
not
need
convenient.
backstory. You don't need a
It
backstory
did
for
not
that.
have a
This
backstory. There was no backstory. But the point is that for a
but you're talking
non-Nigerian,
about
if you are watching
21st.
this
No,
film,
no,
do you think
wait.
somebody
You're not
carrying
going
a
to
gun
understand
makes
what
sense?
you're not going to understand what I'm criticizing. If the point is that you make it like seem like, oh, we needed to see him, the flyer drop in the beginning, and him pick it. Why couldn't have just been any guy could have robbed the place, and we
Do
could
you
have still
think it would
gone.
have made
Oh,
sense? No, Mr. C, let's
yes,
talk
But
about
the
it.
movie, the
Let's
the
talk
second
the
about
half
act
it.
of
of
it was
Imagine
picking
a
a
actually
movie.
flyer
funny.
from the
God.
Wait,
ground, like
Mr. C,
this is the reason
let's
why
talk
he
about
Me
a
gets
sef
to
was
rob
film.
the
asking how
place.
did he get into the hall, oh?
Mr. C, let's talk about a film where right in the middle of a wedding, they just got into a room and somebody is waving gun and we don't know who this guy is or his purpose. Come on. And it's not as if they gave exposition or anything. You can't just pick the flyer from the floor.
The gun, and
At
his
least
purpose
receive the
will tell
reason
us
why
what
he
his
went to the
motivation is.
party.
I
No,
don't
no, 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 no,
understand.
no. Even you will not agree. If this film was a film where somebody not, and I like it again because it's just an action, it was just a scene. He picked the flyer, so we know how he got to the party. It did not need exposition or explanation or backstory. That was just one scene, and he wasn't even talking. It wasn't as if somebody invited him or anything. But
You mentioned it
imagine this was
as
a film with that
you
scene.
mentioned it
What
as
would you
like
say?
brilliant, like, oh, they think they tied from the beginning to the end, and I think that was a pointless
It is
thing to
not
put in
pointless.
there.
You
It
know
is actually
yourself, Mr.
pointless.
C, that if you are
If
watching
they
a
wanted
film
to
where
rob, if
somebody
they
comes
wanted
to
to rob,
rob, where
but
somebody
like,
comes, do you know that? Do you know why this thing is even funny? Because in because think about any film about any heists. Not that the film is not even about a heist. Think about any film where somebody goes to rob, especially if the person is going to be like instrumental, like a conflict or creates a moment, right? Just think about any film. Have you ever seen any film where thieves are not discussing, let's go steal?
yes,
Before that scene, think about it.
plenty of films where
Not just
if the robbers
come
aren't playing a
on,
major
come
part, if the
on.
robbers aren't playing a major part of the film, you can see them
Oh, Mr. C,
in the
we are
middle of the
telling
film.
you that he was instrumental to the
It
resolution of the
is,
problems
Diane.
between
Come
the
on.
family.
You're just arguing because you want to argue.
You
Let me
know,
see
you guys are
so where
defending
else
the
in that wedding?
indefensible.
No, where else in that wedding? I'm sure they could have, but then people will say it's contrived if they found another way for the families to settle their problems.
I'm still saying it's contrived. Like this,
Oh
the thing
God,
is,
man.
it's contrived regardless. You're telling me you watched that scene and because he had a gun and he got them into this thing. That doesn't sound contrived to you. An armed robber
It
helped
served
sort
its
their problem.
Then they
purpose. I
start
don't think it's
therapy.
contrived. It served the purpose for which it
Defend
was shot.
is
As
fine
long
to
as it
defend.
served the purpose, it did what it needed to do.
I'm making my
It
look.
moved the plot forward
I'm making
without
my
giving
plea to
us
the
story
public.
time in the
This is
way
not
a
for you.
tribe called Judah did. Just look at
What
Well,
do
I
you
that.
think
mean
what?
that's the third
Just look
time?
at that. He gave us
Because
1, 2 scenes without giving us 5 scenes of backstory. Tales under moonlight. Come and hear my story. Come on.
No,
they tried to
I
have
just
their group come to therapy with a gun pointed at them while they were being robbed at their high-end
It's
wedding.
supposed to be funny. That's the point.
It was not though.
To you,
It
to
was
you,
just
to you.
contrived.
of course,
And
of
it was
course. What is
it sold itself too heavily on the whole dichotomy. Like the one thing I can't forgive in that movie is the whole bad girl versus good girl trope that it tries to sell us with the current wife and the ex-girlfriend. Like it literally just does trope after trope. It jumps from trope 1 to trope 2 to trope 3 to trope 4, and then the movie ends. That's literally all the wedding party does the entire time, with lots of color and music.
exactly, exactly?
And
And
all the tropes
one
served
being
their
a
purpose. Abi,
virgin,
did they not? Did we
Again,
not
is
see it?
it film or not? Aren't most films made up of tropes? I don't know. The way
no,
people are talking, big bad trope is a bad thing.
Don't mind
of
them.
Yeah,
course
some
not.
Oh.
But
Everything is
like,
films are
bad.
already made
what
up of
Sorry,
the
tropes.
no,
the
no.
thing
Most
See,
behind
films are made up
the
of a
thing behind
story.
the tropes, the thing
let
behind the
me
trope is
tell you
that
now.
the
Trope,
thing behind the trope is that
color.
they're not characters. The characters
Let
feel
me
two
finish what
dimensional.
I'm saying,
And
no.
they
Especially
feel
for
two
romance. So,
dimensional. They
no,
don't have
Mr.
anything
Sieden,
about them other than that. This is what you're
Mr.
supposed to do
Sieden
because
Soro,
this is
let
your
me just
trope.
say what is on my mind. For romance, trope, color, music.
You see, you're missing. You're
Hold on, no,
missing.
hold on, no.
No,
Then you
Trope,
must have
no,
color,
loved
because the
the
music.
point isn't
wedding
that
and the
there are
Let me
tropes.
dialogue
land
Tropes
between
are
them.
there.
used. Tropes are used because you're just going to
And
say
the trope
something that
was used.
tropes are
How
used.
was the what in wedding? You've still not said the
Isn't that
point.
tropes
Apart
are
from the
used?
fact
The
that it's
Oh,
not
point is
interesting
that
God.
the
to you, it's not funny
characters
to you.
are
There's
boring
nothing about
and
the
flat.
trope. All the loose ends were tightly covered. Every character that was needed, even though it was 1 scene, 2 scene, that's the thing about Ensembles. It was well done. Is it not Christmas in Lagos? All of us cried and gnashing of teeth with 100 people with pointless direction. But this one, you can just complain that they use them. But you cannot say there's something about the story that felt left out. You just think it's unnecessary. Congratulations.
That's
But
because
it moved
there's
the plot
no
forward. It
story,
moved the story forward and
Elizabeth.
we like it.
The entire story is that they are getting married and we meet them on the day of their wedding. There's no story. So they spend
The
the
day they
entire
It's a
will get
story. It's
wedding
married.
an entire, oh my
watching
God, it's slice of
tropes.
Did
life.
they
It's
not
just a
get
story that
married?
happened in 1 day, 24 hours. It happens. It's called slice of life.
Oh, man,
Slice
Only
of
the
life
wedding
was
party,
better
slice of
done.
life, comedy, romance,
It's
heist.
everything. It's a 24
And
Uh,
they
hours
managed,
film.
and they
it's
It
managed,
everything
started
but
in the
good,
morning,
to be
it's
honest.
finished
and they
at
It's,
managed to
ev-
make
night.
it work, and
It's
everything
drama.
tied together. What do you mean?
it's
Thank you,
everything
Vanessa.
but but good. But I think my biggest issue with it, again, I think it's actually a perfectly fine movie. It's just this. It's just. It feels like empty calories. There's nothing to it. The story
What more
isn't.
Don't worry,
calories
There's.
do
that's
you
why we
need
can
There,
watch it
Austin?
plenty times and we
there,
cannot watch it Tribe Called Judah
Why
20
can't you
times.
enjoy
yeah,
empty
no,
calories? Sometimes
people.
empty calories are good for you.
Yeah, not for my top
Every time
three
you
movie.
mention
I'm
Wedding
sorry.
Party, I will
Not
remind you
for
that
top
a Tribe
three.
Called Judah exists.
A Tribe Called Judah is not empty calorie. A Tribe Called
It's
Judah. There's
worse. It's
you
worse.
can't you can't tell
It
me
feels
a
like
place
there's
where
water at the top. It feels like there's water at the top. And then
this is
there
where
is salt in the middle. And then the
yeah,
drink is
you can
somewhere
use
towards the end.
hypotheticals. My argument to people is that there's no other place in Nollywood where you have that Genevieve young love story where they're both young and they're
It
both
was
doing
so
stupid
boring to
things.
me,
But
God. I was cringing.
yeah, sure, they can be boring to you, but I'm actually giving you what makes characters and not just two-dimensional characters, unlike the wedding party where people are just tropes. Nothing more than the tropes. It's just that there's
You the
nothing above the
acting of
character.
Sojo,
Whereas in
what's his name? The guy who plays Olumide. I love Olumide so much, but Olumide was two-dimensional. That baby of the house thing, and I love Olumide to bits. I don't think that was Olumide's best acting. You cannot be saying that Olumide was more than a two-dimensional character. If you wanted a trope,
no,
Olumide was a
no,
trope.
in the
Who was
movie with like
hold on.
15
Olumide, who
people.
was too even old to play that
That's the
baby
thing, but
character
he's
in
one
Trap.
person.
his
Wedding
last
Party
born.
is all of them. All of them are tropes. Every
Yeah,
single person in Wedding Party is a trope. Even the think of anybody. Ali Baba is playing a trope. He's playing like a
It's
comic
fine. It's fine.
promise
Tropes are
uncle.
good. At least we
But do you know
understand
he's
them.
actually
yeah,
a film
man.
magnate? Like he's supposed to be a lot more serious and have a lot more
But
dimension
these
to him.
tropes are
No,
But he
it's not supposed to be a
successful.
lot
doesn't.
more serious. Why should it be a lot
These
more
tropes were
serious?
successful in moving the story along. That's the difference
You
here.
are basically just a plot device if all your characters are just being used to move a story along instead of
Yes,
actually telling
Wedding
you
Party
Would
is
a
you
a
not be
bunch
story.
of
rather they
plot
move the
devices
story
that
along
work.
Why do you
than
watch
if they
a
halted the
movie from
story?
beginning to end full of plot devices?
Okay, all right. I think we've all made that case. Uti had her hand up. I don't know whether Uti you have anything you
Uti,
wanted
you
to.
should have
I
unmuted
didn't have
and
much to
hijacked the
say.
mic.
I just wanted to say that the gods of a tribe called Judah came for my voice. I just wanted to say one thing, and next thing I was silenced the whole time. But I didn't have anything to say again.
They say that's how strong a tribe called Judah has got. It's Kaisi. Whereas wedding party remains what it is. Okay, but the thing is that we'll put everybody's rankings. I think we're going to. Some people did not defend. If you did not defend your top three, this thing, we're not going to bother with you this. I'm sorry. Right, all the people who defended
I
their
have one
rankings.
more. King of Boys. I don't think King of Boys should be anyone's number one.
Oh,
I
okay. All
think it's a good movie and a great movie, a top three. And I'm not going to hear me argue that's not a good, timeless, whatever, brilliantly told actress. However, where A Tribe Called Judah may have poor opening, King of Boys has poor closing. It takes you all the way and then kind of leaves you hanging somewhere in the end, which is why it doesn't close out as strong as it could. It feels like towards the end, they kind of forgot what they were doing. They started getting rushed and just kind of went with whatever the first thing came to mind was. And because it doesn't close out as nicely, I don't think it should be number one.
My question is, what do you think should be number one?
Yeah, she's not Tribe Called Judah is her number one.
It's
I agree.
impossible.
I agree that
It's
King of Boys,
impossible.
the King of Boys ending,
Impossible, in fact.
King of Boys ending isn't the strongest, but I think it's still decently strong. It's actually something to have this really strong, powerful character that you've been following, sort of being brought down to her knees, and then have to sort of escape. But I love that she gets her revenge wisely through wisely, like it was in a different country. And I love even that thing where I know, like obviously, the way people they treat women in outside of Nigeria, well, in America, is different from the way they treat women in Nigeria. But I love the way that they even like give a nod to like, hey, women aren't treated nice a lot of places. And I love that little that shot where she's drinking from her teacup. That's an iconic shot. I'm sorry, like I know King of Boys might not have the best ending of the three, but it has a good ending, and it definitely has a better beginning than like A Tribe Called Judah. So that's why it's my number one. Obviously,
And a better ending than A Tribe Called Judah, escaping on a canoe to where?
no, I
I'm
prefer
sorry.
ending of A Tribe
Tukutonu,
Called
but
Judah.
let me
I
say
don't care. I don't
Tukutonu,
care.
but
Tukutonu.
you know what's so
Oh.
great? You know why I like King of Boys is that for a Nigerian film, again, she followed Godfather structure, but for a Nigerian film, our what do we call our anti-hero, right? She just did not get away with murder, right? She lost her kids too. So it's not like there was so much in where we sort of like write linear in. She got, and anyways, the universe got its lead back with her kids. She was left with none. So she had already suffered enough. And we see her actual suffer. We see her internal conflicts. We see that her younger self, fighting, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, it feels very melodramatic. But I really like the fact that she did not get away with murder. Eventually, she left with her life intact, yes. And it's also because the police officer saw that the system itself is so bad. Right. And it's like, maybe this is the only thing I can do. There's no point for me fighting. I like that entire third act, really, in a way that it didn't feel, because most Nigerian films would have either everything good happens to her, she's the bad guy, she escapes, or end with another story. Even the police officer having like conflicts, internal conflict also, and we see the reasons, everything tightly put together. It's a 3 hours something long film, but I thought it was important, and I liked the ending again. Like she was a big dog in Nigeria, and she ended up where she ended up, anyways. But she left with her life. I cannot say same for Brotherhood, because I came out of
Brotherhood
the
is bad
scene.
from beginning to end.
I
So
know,
that's
but I
fine.
just want to compare with Brotherhood because that's another Hollywood film. I was going to my house and I was thinking, this guy killed his twin brother's father-in-law. And we are standing up in the cinema and clapping for him. It did not make sense. And only for the brother to call him at the end. And they had this Odaro Lokpa thing going on. And people were clapping. I wanted to say, no, that's a bad guy. Like, really? Really? Anyways, King of Boys.
I just think that King of Boys is too great a movie for the way it starts, the way they set up the character herself, the way they
You're
set up the
right.
world it exists in. It does all of those things brilliantly, and it has such a long run time that the end does for me cause it a great disservice. It almost feels a lot like I spent all of this time watching it, investing in this character, rooting for her, against her, whatever. And then at the end, they kind of give you this like hastily put together, ending. Yes, she suffers through the movie, and that's fine. But in fact, the way her downfall happens, the way she's caught, the way she escapes, all of it is so hastily and poorly done that it does deduct the movie for me. Like, it's about the journey and the destination, and the journey was great, but I don't even know how we got there. We just ended up somewhere.
Okay. To be fair, all right. So I agree somewhat that King of Boys probably could have lost some fat. Like Mrs. C was saying off mic that yeah, Kemi does have a problem with cutting, and I completely agree. Although I think she's better here. She's better here than she was in the wedding party because obviously she was later in her career. But yeah, and then got worse for parts too. But yeah, the wedding party is part of the bloat that I think it's sometimes that Kemi does have with cutting things down. The other thing I would say, we almost let Otaz get away with putting Sugar Rush on here in her top
Hey, I
three.
forgot.
God. Hey.
Hey.
Look, this
Now,
is a battle.
now,
This is a,
Otas. And
look,
you've been going
now. Okay.
this entire night.
we almost let
Wow.
Otaz get away. Okay. All right. Okay. So Sugar Rush is if we're putting unintentionally funny films, Sugar Rush can be number one. Sugar Rush can be number one. But a top three, we're talking about good films here. Sugar Rush should not be in this conversation.
In Battle of
unironically.
Booker
It
Street,
cannot.
Brotherhood can be in the
The
conversation. Sugar Rush can be in
the
the
plot
conversation
of this
too.
look, the plot of this film doesn't even make sense. Like actual, there's actually people say plot hole a lot, and
No,
they
I
think
agree
else.
with you.
The
There's nothing you're going to say
actual
about this movie that's bad that I won't disagree with you. You want to say it was
what
full of plot holes, I will agree with you. In fact, the whole movie was a plot hole, and that's okay.
no, it's okay. It's not okay.
It's
Yeah.
It's
actually
not.
not okay. It can't be okay if we are now having in a conversation of top three.
That's
It's
Top
not
fine.
three.
okay. It's not okay
Hear
at
me
all.
out. Hear me
I'm
out.
not hearing you know
No,
out.
I don't want to hear you out. I love you, but I don't want to hear you out.
I don't even want to hear. I don't even want to
But
hear
at least
you.
the lead
I want to
characters could
hear.
act. So let's start there. Let's start from the fact that at least the lead characters could act. At least the lead characters and their chemistry were believable and it
I'm
worked.
sorry. Sushi
At
not part of this
least
new
the
characters.
I'm
Is
family
sorry,
Sushi?
Adesuwa
dynamic
Is
Tomi.
worked. There was an
Adesuwa
invisible
Tomi
car. The
walking about the
spectacle
place with her
worked.
she in a permanent
Brotherhood
scowl.
spectacle did
That's
not work. Sugar
Do
Rush
you
Come
guys
off
know
it.
why I did
spectacle
not talk
worked.
about
Come
Sugar
off
Rush?
it.
Because I like it too. I thought it was funny. I thought it was absurd.
The
Exactly.
wedding
It's
party.
absurd. It's insane.
It was
The plot
unintentionally
doesn't
funny. The
plot.
funny happened by mistake. That's not
But it
what they
still
intended when they were
happened.
writing it.
But it
They
still
snapped me
happened.
intentionally.
The
They
It
snapped
funny
still
me
happened by
intentionally.
mistake there. Because it's not that it's funny on purpose.
Okay, but it's funny. That's
yeah,
what they're saying. So you're
No.
agreeing that it's
yes.
funny.
Not what you call top, please, please,
Exactly. Top three
and
cannot be
thank
by
you.
mistake.
What a disappointment! The funny
It's
that
literally.
that
Or
you
do you
won't even
people want
defend
to talk
it
about Franklin
by
W
It
saying
with his
doesn't take
it's
bleached
not
itself too
bad.
eyebrows and bleached
seriously.
beard?
That
It
you will
knows
not
that it might not.
No,
It
now.
doesn't.
wait till we do bottom three, and then you can put it at your top as like, oh, it's
Battle
there
of
number one.
Booker Street
It's not it's
exists,
number
and
Oh,
one
Wedding
because
Mr.
it's
C,
so
wait
Busters
till
funny.
we do
exists,
so
and
bad is
Brotherhood
good.
exists.
Wait till
That's
you do
all.
so bad is good, then you can bring Sugar Rush in it.
Yeah.
You
Ah,
can bring
ah,
so bad
ah.
is
No, but
good for
here's the thing,
Sugar Rush, but not
Vanessa. It's
among
so
top
bad it's
three
good means it's
objectively alright
good.
films.
Like you're still saying the same thing as that it's good. You and I
No,
are
but
ending
it is
up at
so
the
bad.
same
No,
place.
there's a
No,
distinction here.
It's so
Oh.
bad it's
yes, sir.
good because
No.
it's
No,
good.
so bad is
Haba.
good is it does not mean it's actually good. It just means that so bad
Did you give criteria for
It's
how
it's
funny?
not.
unintentional funny because it's funny. Like Vanessa had my village people on her list. I don't know that
It
she
was
should even be
hey,
talking.
hey, hey, hey,
Hey,
hey, Emma
hey,
Losibe.
okay.
Don't go there. Mr. C vetoed my village people and took it to number 4.
Even that number
I
two
also
was
He put
like
it at
already
Village
number
People. I
4.
thought it
He put
was
it at number
funny.
4.
So
Mr. C
I
vetoed it
think
to
I'm
put it
the
at number 4.
problem.
Yeah, you had the problem. At least we agree. We agree on
No,
that.
I like funny films. So Rush and Village People. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Actually, you know what? We've had a pretty good. We'll put some of you who were able to defend your films. We'll put your this thing. We'll put your rankings forth. I think just for the fun of it, Otas, I will include your own, even though I don't think you could defend Sugar Rush.
But Sugar Rush doesn't make
Sugar Rush,
sense.
where
You don't understand. It's
I still put
absurd
your
on
own.
purpose. Like the entire purpose of the movie is absurdity. No one writes in an invisible car expecting it to be a serious, not absurd movie. Like that was intentional. And
Doesn't
it's
mean
well
that you
done
can't write.
absurdity.
It doesn't mean that you have to write plot holes. You don't write plot holes into this thing, right? Like they still have to make sense. That scene where the thing where they went to do a stakeout on the girls going to steal money, and then by the time they get back from the stakeout, those girls they have
They
done
bought house,
shopping
bought
spree.
car.
They've bought house.
Uh-uh. No
They've done
shopping.
all this, and they're just getting back.
And
It's
they're
like, did
just
they
opening
trek?
their eyes.
Think about it.
Did
In the
they?
film with the invisible car, they are also showing you that time and space
Oh, God
Exactly.
damn it, Mrs.
Time is
don't
C.
not
breathe.
linear. Life
And
happens.
space is
Oh,
not are not subject to the laws of physics.
I think like I can't remember whether Mrs. C was smoking something when she watched this film
I
because like she had
definitely was. I'm not gonna
quite
lie.
an attachment
I
to.
definitely the 2 times I watched it, I definitely was.
oh, see, now we are getting to the root of the matter. You people's
Yeah,
you people's mentals were addled chronically. There's a reason they had to be a reason. Now that
Oh God.
I know you're so cold sober when I watched
I don't think so. I don't think so.
twice she was
No,
not
twice.
sober.
The two
So
times
we
I
do
watched
know
it,
there's
I
some
know
interference.
what was
seriously,
happening.
one stone sober, and still a banger.
Still stone sharp. All
But
right.
Vanessa, you watch My Village People sober, so I don't know
Who
what to
told you
tell
that?
you.
Who told you that?
Honestly,
Who told you that? Who actually told you that? You are not in my living room.
All right. Okay. I'll put up everybody's sort of everybody's rankings that tried to defend this thing. And we'll see who the audience votes as the best ranking. I don't know how I'll do it. I'll figure out a way. Maybe I'll do an link out. All right. Okay. But let's get to what we've been watching. What have people been watching?
We watch a Pretty Woman Nigeria version.
Oh,
We watch YouTube Pretty Woman. What's it called?
which one is that?
Tell me
The
you like
one
it.
on
Tell me you like it.
Omani Oboli's channel. What's it
The
called
the
again?
Money Bully one. Law.
Never
Is
heard
it
of
Law
Law.
something?
With
Yes,
Detola Jones.
Jetola Jones.
That baby.
yes,
Oh
Law
my
So,
something.
yes,
God.
I have
It's Hearts in
decided.
Law.
I have,
Hearts in Law. That's exactly right.
I've decided I need to go and pay a bride price. And I've
See,
decided they need to cast her in
After
everything.
me.
wasn't that film giving
We
full
will
on
all pay
Genevieve?
together. We will consolidate the money because she deserves.
Wasn't that film giving full on Genevieve?
Yo!
She was. I swear she was
Calm down.
reheating
She's
Genevieve
so
in that film.
pretty.
Calm
My
down.
best in beauty.
No, are you kidding me? That's Genevieve's daughter. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, okay. You mean
Beauty.
in looks? Okay.
In looks and in voice. Have you heard her talk?
Sorry, I just have to say though, I can't
She
believe it.
sounds like Jenny Baby.
I can't believe he picked her from the roadside. That's the worst part of that film for me because I'm looking at this baby like, this girl was not standing by the road. Let's be honest.
Well, she kind of was.
Yes, she was. But look at her. Does she look like who will be standing by the road?
Now, condition 9, they make crayfish bend.
Be conditioned.
This crayfish
Did you not see the suit? Did you not see the suit plot line they gave us?
Exactly. They told us why her condition, her crayfish bend.
Yes, but that condition will shall not put her by the roadside. It will put her at like, you show up at the fancy parties and she pick you up there. You know what I
She
mean?
go
Like
get
catalog.
access to fancy party now.
I don't know. Look at that
And are you
babe now.
exactly?
There's no way.
See, I feel like anybody standing by road should pursue her when she comes to join them because she will spoil market.
The truth, Nigerian men would never
Now,
let
why
that
should
babe
they only
go
go road? with her friend?
Nigerian men will never let that babe reach road.
Look at that. I will not let her reach the road. Me personal, I will sell land.
I'm yelling. I'm yelling.
Like,
I'm actually yelling.
What do you know?
Also, guys, I just want to say I understand that YouTube Nolly is trying to sell us Ray Adeka as a leading man, and honestly, valiant efforts on everyone's part. Valiant efforts on everyone's part.
Is he the guy
It's
from?
a guy.
Yes, it's the guy. It's the guy.
He's everywhere.
I say,
That's what I'm saying. They are trying to sell him.
YouTube watcher. I'm tired of him.
I said they are trying to sell him hard. Like honestly, valiant efforts on everyone's part. But guys, I'm not buying the market. Unfortunately,
Exactly. It's like I
I'm
see what
not
you're trying to
buying.
do, but this is a hard sell. This
Hard.
is a very hard sell.
Maybe
Maybe we should pivot. Maybe try comedy.
No.
I don't know.
He's
I
too
think
stiff for
he's a
comedy,
fantastic
unfortunately.
colleague to work with.
It must be.
I think
It
he's
must be
fantastic.
great to work with because
He's
like
so stiff. God.
lead is not giving. I'm like, guy.
Isn't this the problem with most of the Nollywood this thing? To be honest,
Yes, we're
like,
so stiff. Nobody's fluid anymore.
I think a lot of the romantic stuff I'm saying. Sometimes a lot of times the women are out acting the man.
The women
That's
are
definitely
carrying.
true. But do you know what? Do you know what else?
Out mugging them.
Do you know what I would forgive is if at least you give like a guy who is just so good looking. You're like, at least I understand.
Yes.
I understand why you're here, right? Even if the acting is not doing, because like these women are winning on both fronts, and it can't be. We can't have it. Can't have both be winning in beauty and also the acting department. I didn't notice this babe's acting like that. I don't think she's fantastic, but she's oh my god, levels of fine.
It doesn't matter. It's like in all of the roles.
Yeah.
I want to see her in cinema up there.
All right. Okay, but did anybody watch anything else this week? Was it like
The King's Heart?
Unfortunately, I did not, but I started watching. No, I did not actually start. Oh yes, I started watching. See, guys, so I watch African Magic on Showmax. Basically, all those 130 films, that story kind of film series, whatever. So I was following Cheta, but I see that Cheta had its Red Wedding scene going on. I will not be watching it. I will wait until everything dies down to continue. But I wanted to talk about this new show called Uriri. It's not good, guys. Don't say, don't quote me. Let me rephrase. The dialogue is not good. Because I'm struggling here. Because I said, let me watch it because that's what's his name? That guy that was in also. What's his name? Help me, guys. My brain is fried.
Which film is Hostel? Which Hostel film?
No, it's a series. The guy in Smart Money, the one that is collecting all the babes' money. Lala's boo.
What's that his name?
Sheung.
Is it Sheung?
Sheung. Is it Sheung?
It's Sheung. It has to be Sheung something. But anyways, my brain doesn't work currently. It had him as a leading character. The dread on his head looked like mop, but I'm like, this should work. I like the storyline, the plot rather. It was making sense. But guys, the dialogue is not good. I'm trying my best here. Like, I will hear one line again. Oh God, I will just roll my eyes like, what's going on here? The writers are trying to go for historical writing, but in a way where it just does not translate to 1800s Robo. I don't know. Maybe it's because we are speaking English. Maybe if they were speaking Robo, I wouldn't notice. But the dialogue just isn't good. And then it tries to do some sultry thing that comes off really cringe. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying my best here. I said maybe if I watch one more every time I tell myself, let me watch one more episode. I watch that one more episode and the dialogue just, oh God, can we make it stop? Anyways, that's what I've been watching. I didn't like it. I'm watching Omera. I really like it now. It started off slow for me. I've not watched any. I did not even watch Art on the Line this week. Is this how I get saved? It's like the song called Palace did not work on me again. No. I didn't watch it. Maybe this is how I do not watch it again.
No, more.
I cannot help that.
What is more? We finally got somewhere for like 2 seconds and then everywhere.
I'm actually crying. Because what is going on? Heart on the Line. But it feels like every week I have to come here complaining about Heart on the Line. But I think the next thing will be that I'll probably file a complaint against, what's her name, Abimbola Craig. I will actually walk to a police station and they will ask me why. And I will go to a court and do cease and desist. And they will ask me why. I don't know how it will happen, but it will happen. Thank you.
If you are filing a class action suit, I will join in signing the name.
Not too much of my queen. Please.
Your queen is doing in the nonsense, unfortunately. Speaking of doing in the nonsense, Omoni Oboli just had a flop, man. And her latest release. In fact, it got to a point I closed the app and I left. I said, because it's not me you will stress this evening. I know, because I just watched this latest drop. I said, so, meaning, what's the point of it all? And then you're just bringing unnecessary a hula baloo up and down the place. A housemaid who is undercover. As how? How is this made undercover? Sometimes we have to be reasoning. Maybe until Omoni needs a little recovery time after the Jane Nwachukwu saga. But no, Auntie Omoni, let this not repeat itself again. Speaking of what we've been watching, the Heart of the King, part 1 and part 2. I just want to say, Ruth Kadiri, I respect your ministry. In fact, quite loyal to your ministry. Because You people thought that it's only on Netflix and Prime that we do have Epic. It's a lie. Oh. Ruth Kadri said on YouTube we do Epic. And our Epic is giving 2004 Nollywood. Guys, she gave us part 1 and part 2. You don't understand. She gave us plot holes that were jumping up and down. She gave us a supposedly young prince who is a prostitute and a whore, but somehow in love with this main character since childhood. Um, Gave us another redemption love story for our main lead. And honestly, my favorite part about it was that they were dressed in sackcloth for most of it. I'm sorry, guys. No need for all this extravagant traditional outfit. No need to go to Kula Falayo Film Village. All you need is sackcloth and black arrow as tribal mark on the face. Do you realize how nostalgic this film was? Was it very good? Absolutely not. Did I have a fantastic time? Yes, I did. Ruth Kadiri played a maiden. What more could I want? Unnecessary juju. There were prophecies, guys. A prophecy. We were 5 minutes into the film and the king got a prophecy. How much more epic can you get than that? I'm sorry. Ruth Kadiri needs to run this back. And maybe this time she don't cast herself. But I understand when you are trying something for the first time, you have to use a bankable face. And people do like seeing her face on her channel. So I quite understand the thought process behind it. But she needs to run it back. Give us another epic with a whole different cast. I'm loyal to her ministry. Wallahi, Ruth Kadiri has me. If she can just be giving us epic, I'm down.
Right. The King's Heart, the sugar rush of epics, apparently. I remember we watched this for about 10 minutes or 15, something like that, 10 or 15 minutes. It was when the Daniel, who's playing the Ashawo Prince, professes his love to Ruth Kateri. I don't, he did it with a straight face. I'm like, I thought, when you just
3 scenes ago, she was standing outside the bush while you were telling a maiden
that this
you are
thing
not
was not
as
sweet
as usual.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
She was within earshot. The things she has heard. Because this seemed like a normal Tuesday for her, right?
Yeah.
Standing outside the bush
Yeah.
while the prince is doing his business.
He told her to call another one for him now. So she do normally around.
Then I could look past a lot for this love to blossom, right? You know, he got her mom evicted from the palace. She not seen her mom in 20 years because of him. Sure, I could forgive that, right? He's an asshole. Sure, you could forgive that. It just genuinely sucks. But if I have stood outside the bush and heard him experience the lack of sweetness of a few of the village maidens, we're not moving past this. I'm sorry. I apologize.
But you're a special needy.
No, but that's why you have to keep watching. No, that's why you have to watch further.
Accept his love today. Now tomorrow you'll be telling me,
but that's why you have to watch further. You can't just abandon it like that. No, I'm telling you, genuinely watch it further. It will all make sense. Like partially makes sense. Like 3/4 of it will make sense, guys. I promise.
Wow, I can't even vouch for most. Well, to be honest, vouching for 75% of the movie is not bad.
No, that's quite generous. Like 55% of the movie.
In total, part 1 and 2, or 75% of part 1, and then how many percent of part 2?
No, 75 in total.
Okay,
part 1 and 2.
Okay, that's right.
I'm sorry. Genuinely, I'm here for it. I don't care what anybody says. I didn't know what to expect. I forgot what I wanted to say. Mr. C, thank you for bringing up his straight face. I know previously I had called for his retirement, but now it's a brand new year. I'm changing my ways. Yeah, so I'm not calling for. I've withdrawn my call for his retirement. What I'm saying is, I would like for him to retire from romances. I haven't seen Summer Rain, guys. I know it's in the cinemas right now, but I would just like to say Daniel Etimeffiong is not our romance league. Sorry. Unfortunately, I'm sure he has shooters up and down. Yeah, no. That man has a face built for a villain. And honestly, he thrives as a villain. Let him thrive in his ministry. Stop trying to make this man a romance lead. It's not working. What blew Daniel Etim Effiong up was playing a villain on Giddy Up. Let him go back to his roots. Please, I'm begging on my knees. Please.
I can see, obviously, Toyosi sent to you. You're actually a Toyosi messenger.
No,
I
if
see.
you don't
I
know,
see.
Toyosi wants her husband to be a romantic screen god. In case you don't know, she's quite proud of that. I don't think I'm doing Toyosi's work here.
I will not allow this.
Honestly,
Accusation.
if we take that away from her, she will not like it.
I know. I don't. I
She will
don't.
not like it.
These cock accusations of Toyosi will not stand.
It's not. She doesn't want it to actually touch anybody. She just wants everybody to want it.
All of us think he's hot, and
Well,
unfortunately,
did she not produce this film where they're doing? Does she not produce this film?
Nah, it's different. They're kissing him on the screen.
Okay. All right. Anyway, moving on. Uti, is there anything you've watched?
Yeah, I have two things to say.
Yeah.
First of all, I want us to stop. I want Nollywood to retire memory loss romance. I'm tired of that plot, and I've already said it's pregnancy as a tool. I hate it so much. So when I was watching, so I saw King's Heart when I was thinking about like old Nollywood epic. I wanted to rewatch Warrior's Heart. I don't know if you guys remember it with Genevieve and Muna. I was looking for it, I didn't find it, and then I just go on YouTube and I said, wait, this is an epic on Ruth Kadiri's movie, and I'm so sorry. I started watching it and I was like, I wanted to cry because I'm like, this is horrible. We have truly lost epic. We have lost, like, he's never coming back. Because first of all, why is Ruth Kadiri the main? I'm just like, what is going on here? And I didn't realize that what made epic of the time was like the main actors and like the beauty and everything. And I'm watching this movie, I'm just like, I just felt like crying because I was like, we have truly lost that prime Nollywood, and it hurts my heart. But that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Uti. Is anything else people have been watching before we round up? Okay. Did anybody watch any of the series I recommended last year? What was it? Curiosity made me ask. And what do you call it? And Most Toasted Girl.
no, but you go tell us what to do.
Yes, literally the guy. You.
I'm sorry, I just had to.
Yeah, I know. Of course, it's not easy.
I'll probably watch Most Toasted Girl again because I think the first time I watched it the first time.
Yeah,
But
same.
I feel like now that season 2 is coming out, I should just watch first
No,
one
me, I
again.
plan on watching it just before like
When
a day
is
before
season?
season 2 comes out.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Season 2 is out. I think all of it is
February 20, February 24, Abby. I hope
Yeah,
Nengi is here. I have already memorized it because she said we should watch it in our pajamas.
You said 24.
I think so. Abby Beko.
I saw the poster, Sha.
Yeah,
I feel like
have
the
the
day
poster
should
bookmark.
tell
February
us about
20th. Sorry, I put 4 days in front. It's February 20th. And she said we should watch it in our pajamas. And I've taken note of that.
Okay, pajamas has been done. So anyway, but yeah, February 20th.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I quite literally jumped when I heard the Most Toaster Girl. I said, what? So thank you guys, first of all, for watching it. And it's February 20th. So yes, I asked everybody to get ready with their pajamas. Please do watch parties, get wine, gather your friends, send us content. I'm happy to post it on the page. And I'm really excited for this new season too, because you get to meet her, and I know some people said they have to rewatch. Yes, please rewatch, because I'm curious about what everyone will think following the new season. The first season, it was more so scenario based clips, right, where we meet her at a date, or she's getting to know a guy, or she just met a guy, or whatever. But with this season, we've tried our best to get braver about who she is. So we're hoping that when people meet her, maybe her friends, her mom, perhaps, we're just getting a bit closer into her personal life and what she's really all about. So I've been nervous about it. I can't lie, because if you're giving people what they want and they like it, why change it, right? But at the same time, for us, we've always been big on experimenting with the show. Her growth as well. We've been big on that. Just really just seeing multiple scenarios and different worlds that she can kind of exist in. So we're excited about that. And another thing I'm excited about for this new season is the director and I, we try to touch on as many genres as possible. So those things I want to share. I don't want to add more because I also don't want to curate how people sort of respond to the season. But what I would like is if there are any discussions about it, please, like as usual, I value constructive opinions, and I'm really happy to hear how people feel like, just watching season 1 versus, now the new season unfiltered. So yeah, thank you guys. It's February 20th. And I also came to hold Manny's shirt because we must do host that space. So people have to come and toast the most toasted girl. But yeah, that's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. And next night, so what's today's date? So 9th. All right, so we have 11 more days. All right, okay. Is there anything else anybody watched or? All right. For the people who put in their top 3, thank you. Still Human says that top 3: King of Boys, Wedding Party, Sugar Rush / Prophetess. Okay, so Sugar Rush. I told you it's just 3. Can't be doing sneaks. People can't be doing sneaks.
Because
Are we even sneaking prophetess?
I mean,
King of tell me as in Prophetess. Tell me says Vanessa and I aligned on our top 3 top 3. In order, King of Boys, this ushered in the era of thuggery / political dramas. 2, A Tribe Called Judah. Entertainment factor was 7 out of 10. And 3, A Wedding Party, for better or worse. This movie was the start of bourgeoisie Lekki movies, I would say, for us. Oriental says Brotherhood, number 3, action film. Number 2, Sugar Rush. I had no expectations going in and was pleasantly surprised by the absurdist comedy. Through number 1, Wedding Party, best Nollywood romantic comedy of its decade. Nollywood figured out the recipe for bangers here and then lost the paper. All right. Okay. Well, I'll put in the list the poll for who you think's ranking is the best. So please watch out for that. And we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys, for this conversation. And speak next week.
thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at Iroko Critic and join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.